Welcome to our new series on the physics of golf. And before we get started with our special guest for today, we want to just define real quickly what we mean by loft angle of a club. So imagine we here have a golf club with its shaft oriented straight up and down, and we're looking at it from the side. So your hands would be gripped up here. And what we can define is this vertical axis going right through the shaft of the club. And then we have this other line, which is the face of the club. And so the loft angle is this angle right here. So this would be, for example, for a driver, would look something like this. If we had something like a wedge, we could have a much larger angle, like this. And if we had a putter like this over here, we have a very small angle, maybe only 1 or 2 degrees. So with that, let's head over to Ethan.
Hello everybody, my name is Ethan Rouen. I'm a PGA pro in training, and today we're going to talk about the different lofts on golf clubs and how they go different distances. So to start off, we're going to talk about these selections of golf clubs. These are called fairway metals, and specifically we're going to talk about the driver. Now the driver has around 6 to 10 degrees of loft depending on which driver you have. And I know you're thinking, well, if it has such little loft, how are we going to get the ball to go so far? Well, what we do is we take a tee and we put the ball on top of the tee. That way we're able to swing up and hit the ball. So actually, we're actually increasing loft through the hitting zone, but because there's so little loft on the driver, it's not going to shoot up straight into the air and go a short distance. We can actually get a quite far distance out of this shot. Now, you saw there were 3 clubs, so now we're going to look at what are called fairway metals. And the purpose of these is now we don't have the privilege of teeing up the ball anymore. We now are hitting off the ground. So we still need enough loft to get it into the air, but we still need to hit it a great distance. So these have around 15 to 19 degrees of loft, but they have the same purpose of hitting the ball a long way. But now we just need to hit it off the ground. Once we get a little closer to the green, we're going to use what's called irons. And the purpose of these clubs is to hit it around a middle distance, right? We're trying to hit it from around 200 yards to 130 yards. And what we can do with irons, which is cool, is we can take this one iron. This is a 7 iron. It has around 35 degrees of loft, but what we can do is we can decrease the loft if we want the ball to go further, or increase the loft by opening the face to get the ball to go shorter if we're in between yardages. For example, this club for me goes around 175 yards. But if I have 180 yards, and my 6 iron, the next club up in order, goes 190 yards, I can close the face, tilt it down to make the loft lower to get the ball to go that extra 10 yards. Or if we need to take off 10 yards, we can open the face and get the ball up in the air quicker. The next category of clubs we have is called wedges. So these wedges range from 50 to 60 degrees. And what these are used for, as I'll show you here, is getting the ball very high in the air, coming in soft. As you can see, there's a lot of loft here. This club will only go around 50 yards if I swing it full. So this isn't supposed to go a great deal of distance. It's just supposed to get up in the air, out of any lie, come in soft next to the green. But we can do the same thing of decreasing. See, now that's more like a 9 iron, or that 7 iron I was just holding. Or we can open the face almost flat here to get the ball coming up vertical and coming in soft close to the hole. The last club we're going to talk about today is called a putter. Now this putter has the least amount of loft in my entire bag. This has around 1 to 2 degrees. And yes, you can tee up a ball and hit this a long distance, but that's not what this club is designed for. You actually will break the club if you try doing that. So what this is designed for is keeping the ball low to the ground and rolling, because we're now on the green and we don't need to hit the ball up in the air anymore. We just want to keep the ball rolling along the ground into the hole. So the ball will still get off the ground with the amount of loft it has, but we need to keep it skidding and rolling towards the hole. All right, that's all the clubs that we're going to talk about today. I'm happy to break it down into more detail in future videos if that's what you all want. Back to you, Kyle.
All right, thanks, Ethan. I'm realizing now that the clubs that I've drawn here would actually be for left-handed players, so go Phil Mickelson. But stay tuned for our next video in the series coming up on Monday, in which we're going to talk about ball speed, how club head speed transfers to the golf ball, and what that initial launch speed would be.